the last component is often called the last part, or this is the component that changed the most significantly from the first iteration to the second one. The first iteration was, can you talk to us a little bit about?
It was kind of your professionalism and how you're helping others grow. It was things like curriculum writing, kind of all those things you do that are above and beyond regular teaching.
And now it's really another full-on component. So is anyone working or thinking about component 4? So we've talked a little bit. This is the most recent release, and it's pretty intimidating when you first look at it.
As you get into it, because it's actually, I don't know why they're still calling it effective and reflective practitioner, because it's about assessments.
Yeah.
And it is our curriculum learning team PLC process. And so that, yeah, and maybe because we finally know how to write everything out. This has been, I finally feel like I know what the heck I'm doing with it. So yeah, I was upset when I got it because I was like, dang it, this was supposed to be the easy one, but it hasn't been too bad. It talks about your personal learning needs and the communities that you work in, and then a student learning need and how that works. We have CLTs that meet weekly, curriculum learning teams for the knowledge of, and we were doing stuff and it worked perfectly because we talked about that one.
Good. Others?
I think that this component is a ginormous beast. Sorry to make your heart beat faster. It is a lot. Out of all of the components so far, this is probably, for me, the most work that I've put in. And the reason why is it has a lot to do with data, like you said.
Yeah.
So there's it's kind of like two separate pieces. They kind of just mush together. Yeah. One is about your professional learning communities, like you said. The other one is about student need and professional need. So you have to use data to prove that there is a student need in your classroom. And from that need, what are you going to do to A, help those kids, and B, what are you going to do professionally to get yourself ready to do that? You can go down so many avenues with it, which is a good thing. It's very vague, so you could do this or that or this or that. But you have to find a need, and then you have to prove the need, and they don't necessarily, they're not demanding growth, but you need to show growth. You need to show where you moved your kids and why you moved your kids, and then you have to analyze that and reflect on it. And that's just the one part, and then the other part is the professional part where you have to talk about that too. So it's I spent a lot of time with data, with having to compile it in a clear and concise way so that when they look at it, they can say, oh yeah, I understand that, and not like, what is it, So for me, I felt like it just took a while to do the data part, and then you have to do all the rest of the stuff, the written analysis, the reflection.
The first part is, how do you know your students?
Yeah, the group profiling.
Yeah, how do you know your students? What do you look at? Who do you talk to? Data.
Yeah.
And for me,
there's a lot of forms.
I think that one of the best things you can do as far as collecting data for them is look at different campus for their lexile scores, math scores, whatever, but then also look at giving them like a MI test or something at the beginning of the year, just to kind of sort of multiple intelligence test.
Oh.
And so just so you have that you can utilize and so you can discuss that. And so when you start talking about, oh, I got 4 kinesthetic learners and so on and so forth, it's just, you act like you know what you're talking about even if you really have no idea. And even if you're not actually changing it, because I think as a teacher, all of us are trying to make sure we hit all of it, just by being able to present the idea of, I'm aware of what these kids have, and therefore I want to make sure I hit all of this. And I had kids get up at this point in time, because I wanted to make sure that my 22 students, 12 of who placed well as kinesthetic learners, did this or whatever.
Are you working on 4 also?
If by working on, I mean I will be, yes. I got 3 weeks, we're good.
Not 1 to wait, probably.
The PLC work that we do, I would really suggest you utilize that in this because it just ties it together. It seems to, I don't know what you guys do in elementary school with PLC.
It's very similar.
We have
We probably have more than you do.
Yeah,
we have like 2
maybe twice a week.